Today on Dr. Phil. They call their ex a compulsive liar.
Widower, millionaire. You make women believe you're somebody you're not.
It's time that you get held accountable for what you've done.
Children, women, you con everyone.
Asking me to have sex with you after we had broken up because you claimed that you had cancer.
You are literally a cancer.
Is a life of deception.
He told her that you were racist.
That's a flat-out lie.
How does that feel?
About to catch up with him.
His ex-wife, who he claimed was dead, is alive. What she has to say. Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Well, yesterday, I sat down with Tiffany and Sheikah, who accused their ex-boyfriend Eric of being a liar and a con man. Now, they said Eric told them he was a millionaire and promised to buy them luxury cars and mansions. But those were lies, he told, which they say reminded them of well-known con artist and criminal Dirty John Meehan. Now, Eric admitted he lied, but claimed he never intended to scam Tiffany and Sheikah. Well, here's what happened yesterday.
Eric told me he went to Stanford University. He played for the 49ers. I was completely amazed by all of the things that he had done. Eric is a complete con man. He's a fraud. He lied to me about everything. I felt like it was a scene out of the TV show Dirty John. After we had been together for about a year, I found out that I was pregnant. I was not happy. All Eric was a stack of lies and empty promises.
He's like a locust. He goes from place to place and person to person, sucking all of the resources out of whatever it is. And once he gets everything that he wants, he's on to the next.
Tiffany is not the only person from Eric's past. Another ex-girlfriend is here.
I feel like Eric is the con man who's mastered the art of manipulation. Eric even said that he had cancer and it was in remission, and that was a lie. I felt betrayed, and I felt that he has some serious mental health issues. But I went out and purchased a gun. Eric is capable of anything.
Well, I made a list of lies he told you as well. Mother was out of the country, but told you he was dead. But he was inheriting millions.
He told me he had already inherited millions from his grandfather, who was in organized crime before he passed away.
There's a much darker pathology here than just a pathological liar. He is absolutely uncaring about what that's going to do to you. He hasn't seen Tiffany in over 3 years and says, as for Sheikah, she is just as much a liar as he is.
I've let a lot of people down because of my chronic lying. It makes me feel guilty and sad. My hope is that somebody can tell me what's wrong with me.
How do you feel seeing Tiffany right now?
It's hard because I know that I hurt her. We have a son together.
If you have a son together, why haven't you seen her for 3 years?
Tiffany cut all contact off with me. She warned me, if you don't start telling me the truth, I'm gonna be done with you. Completely justified.
This was not about you telling the truth. This was about you establishing paternity if you genuinely wanted to be a father to your son. You didn't even bother to show up for the appointment so that you could sign the birth certificate. Let's call a spade a spade.
You have 4 kids that you know about.
Yes, we video
But
chat
you
and
haven't
whatnot.
seen your sons in 11 years, and you have 6 or more kids. It's not just 4. You probably have at least 20 children. You probably got someone pregnant while you were here. Nothing's funny. Nothing is funny. It's not funny at all.
So when did Eric begin to lie and deceive people? His mom says she knows exactly how it all started.
I would receive a call from a young woman, and she says, does he have a private plane and a runway? I said, no. I said, Eric is unemployed and lives in my basement.
He has a problem. This isn't something that a normal person does. He lies constantly.
We know that. Are you telling me that when you are walking this woman and this woman through these big mansions and telling them you're going to buy them this house and bringing in contractors and doing all this, when you're doing that, you full well know that's never going to happen, correct?
Absolutely.
All right, so my point is, when you're doing that, you are showing an utter and reckless disregard for the feelings and emotional well-being of other people. It's not just lying. You are showing a lack of empathy, caring, and feeling for somebody else. You're creating a hero moment for you and paying no attention or concern to the fact that it's going to hit the wall and they are going to be devastated, betrayed, and in emotional collapse and turmoil because they have believed in someone that had no intention, was lying when you said it, knew it was never going to happen, and gave no regard or consideration to the impact it would have on someone else.
I would have to agree with that, absolutely.
Okay, that's the pathology. The lying is just the tool to get there. Now, I'm asking why you have such vicious disregard for this woman and this woman that you would want to hurt them that bad.
And this woman.
I never saw it the way you just explained it. I never looked at Tiffany and said, you know what, I want to hurt this woman.
Okay, well then answer me this. Answer me this. Then play this out for me. What did you think was going to be her internal dialogue when she found out that that was all a lie? She wasn't going to move into that house. You weren't going to, you didn't close on it the way you said, that all of those dreams, all of those plans, all just a scam, a con, a lie. What did you think her internal dialogue was going to be?
I never thought that it would come to that. I always thought that...
No, wait a minute. No. We just covered the fact that you knew when you were walking through that house, you were never going to buy that house. You were living in your mother's basement or whatever. You knew you didn't have the money to buy, you couldn't pay the utilities in that house, let alone the down payment or the mortgage or the taxes. You knew you would never buy that house. You knew it when you were walking through it. So don't tell me you didn't know that it would ever come to that. You knew you would never buy that house. You knew she would never sleep a night in that house when you were walking through it telling her it was one day going to be hers.
What I mean by I didn't mean that it would come to that. I never thought out the process of eventually, hey, this isn't gonna be able to happen, and then how is that gonna affect her? I never thought about how it would affect her and that it would hurt her. I don't know if it's a situation where, you know, obviously I lied and I led her on, and she didn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that at all.
So you're telling me that you're so immature that you never thought far enough ahead that this is going to hit a wall and she is going to be faced with, that Sheikah is going to be faced with the reality that their dreams, their commitments, their plans have all been a facade, a fantasy.
I just never thought about the consequences of it. I didn't care how it would affect me. But
that's really immature to say you haven't even thought of that. But yet, having transgressed in that way, you sit here self-righteously and sanctimoniously reading her the riot act.
Nobody's reading. I'm not trying to read her the riot act.
I've
done A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Y, and then to play semantic and say, well, I didn't do Z. I didn't do Z. That's not really fair. I'm not here to debate. What I'm here for is to say I have a problem, and I would like to have it fixed.
No, you lie about everything.
Sheikah. You're right. You guys don't have the market cornered on heartbreak.
This isn't about heartbreak. This is about manipulation. It's about time that you get held accountable for what you've done.
He said that he was going to buy me a house. He was going to buy me a car. He was going to marry me.
Marriage, yes. House, yes. Car. He actually finally bought me a car, and then they came and repossessed it. Did he say he played for the 49ers?
Yes.
Stanford.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
3 master's degrees.
Oh, yeah. Did he tell you that his mother passed away?
No. She was still alive, but he wasn't talking to her anymore.
Yeah, he said that she was dead and gone, and then I found her on Facebook.
He told me that he was just part owner in some resorts.
And you planned a trip to go
yes.
and never did?
It never happened.
Oh, wait a minute. Helicopter pilot?
Yes.
So did he talk about Rosa?
Yes.
The nanny.
His imaginary maid. Rosa was supposed to be bringing my engagement ring from California.
You got an engagement ring?
No, she never showed.
There's not a lick of truth in anything he told me.
He told me that his ex-wife was killed by a drunk driver, and that wasn't true. And he told me that he was a wonderful father, and that wasn't true either.
He never really said, I'm sorry. It was just another lie to cover the lies.
When I think about Eric, he's the biggest ass I've ever met in my life.
I concur. I think I agree 100%.
You con businesses, you con hospitals, you con children, women, you con everyone. You're like a cancer. You lie and say you have cancer, but you are literally a cancer. And if people do not get away from you, they will not survive. You do not care about yourself. You don't care about anyone.
No,
you lie about
You're right,
everything.
Sheikah. You're right. He doesn't. You know, you guys don't have the market cornered on heartbreak here.
But it's
I mean,
not
I've lived it.
But you're taking
This is not about heartbreak. This is about premeditated lies that have been told over and over and over again to multiple women, over and over again. There is nothing unique that you tell any single woman. We sat and we compared stories. As a matter of fact, Sheikah would call me and she'd say, Eric just told me this. I said, all right, be ready, because he's going to tell you this next. And then she'd come back and say, you know what? He did exactly what you said. You don't have anything original that you give anybody. So I don't understand how we can make the excuse that this is about heartbreak. This isn't about heartbreak. This is about manipulation.
You bet it is.
This is about manipulation. This is not heartbreak. This isn't about hurt feelings.
I said he was a lazy liar. There are common lies that he tells everybody, and I made a list of them because I've talked to different women. Lost wallet and ID, widower and 2 kids, nanny, from California, millionaire, NFL, 49ers, Stanford grad, Google, owns restaurants, owns real estate, last name Williams. I mean, you kind of have a shtick you run on everybody, right? You've worked this out.
Obviously.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that I necessarily worked it out.
You worked it out.
It's a situation. I lied. I did wrong. I didn't come here to the Dr. Phil show to get a free trip to LA. I came here because...
You did. It was a free place to stay and
Will
free
you
food.
stop?
It was.
Can I stop?
It was a free place to stay.
I
You make me
understand.
stop.
I understand that you want it to be all about you because you're hurt, and that's fine.
No, it's
whatever.
not all about me. It's all about saving someone because I think that you're capable of murder. That's what it's about.
Here
you're a sociopath.
For a free trip. I knew that I was going to get ran over, and justifiably so. I hurt people, I've lied, I've done all of these things. I came here, I was hoping that I would be able to get some help. And I knew I was going to get run over the bus. They're going to run me over. Tiffany's mad. Sheikah's mad. They're both hurt. I did them wrong. I understand that.
Nor am I mad. It's about time that you get held accountable for what you've done.
Hold me accountable. Hold me accountable. I knew I was going to get ran over here. I knew I was going to get ran over here.
Well, I'm asking you questions. I mean, I'm just asking you questions. I'm probing at this point. Tiffany and Sheikah say Eric may be dangerous, but his ex-wife, who he claimed was dead, is actually alive. What she has to say may actually surprise you. I'm going to add that to the mix when we come back.
Asking me to have sex with you because you claimed that you had cancer.
That was all a lie.
Yes, sir, it was.
I'll give Eric credit for one thing. He can sure charm people.
Not being a very attractive man, I've always been able to date extremely beautiful women.
Eric has the market cornered on how to pick up women. He knows exactly what women want to hear.
He likes smart women. It's almost like the thrill of the chase, being able to conquer somebody who has the intellect that he has. Eric needs to know that eventually the luck runs out. Game over.
Well, Tiffany and Sheikah say their ex-boyfriend, Eric, who they claim is a con artist, was not their type initially, but his intelligence and personality drew them in. Now, looking back at things now, they admit that their relationship quickly escalated and they missed red flags. Now, here are some of the red flags that were overlooked. Even though there were stories of riches, there was no money, there was no ID. I mean, he's wearing old clothes. There's no home. You never met any family or friends. The relationship moved really fast. The promises were empty. When you look back at this, if the person that you know, and I'm saying this as much for people that are watching, because this is a teachable moment, if you're talking about someone of substance, a man or a woman, they usually have a footprint in life, right? I mean, there's usually relationships, family, businesses, associates, friends. It's like a boat going through the water. They've left a wake. And here you meet somebody, there's no wake behind this boat. There's no friends, there's no family, there's no home, there's nothing. They just all of a sudden are there. They've got no ID, they don't even have a wallet. And, you know, I wrote a book called Life Code. And in Life Code, I talked about this concept of the benefit of the doubt. Because I was raised as a Christian and we were taught, look for the good in people and give them the benefit of the doubt. That's insane. You shouldn't give people the benefit of the doubt, nor should you condemn them. What you should do is gather data to make an informed decision. You know,
there was data. She had data. She went and saw him in the hospital. She read his real name on the hospital chart. That would have been the biggest red flag for me. I'm sorry, but if somebody is going by, excuse me, I'm speaking.
No, I don't care. You're not going to try to throw me under the bus.
Someone is going by a name that they're not supposed to be going, and you're looking at a chart, and you're seeing that there's another name, guess what? I'm going home and I'm Googling.
Are you trying to say it's their fault?
No,
Okay.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that would have been a big red flag for me to say, hey, wait a minute.
Well,
why is he telling me his name is this, but it's actually this?
Okay, good for you. Here's something that I might suggest. You say you know he's been a liar since he was a child?
Absolutely.
Then you might want to mention that to the women he drags up when you first see them.
I never met him.
Well, when that happens, you might want to put that in the intro when you first meet them.
This is why I never knew, was because I never knew they existed.
Well, I've heard from some of the people that were on this timeline, Martha, and I have a statement from her, and this is the one that supposedly was dead, but isn't. I was married to Eric in 2004 to 2008. We have 2 sons. When we got married, he started to lie to me. I lost trust in Eric when our coworker told me Eric was cheating on me. The coworker told me he was taking another woman to the bathroom at work to have sex with her. The lies and cheating caused us to separate. Eric by nature is trustworthy. He wouldn't steal from you. He just has a problem with lying. Eric tends to embellish his job status and how much money he makes. Eric is not a dangerous person, and I would trust our kids with him. I don't believe Eric is a con man, but is in survival mode. When Eric is stable, he's an amazing father, but he is not stable right now. So that's what Martha had to say. Are you dangerous?
I think in a sense, I am dangerous as far as, you know, I would emotionally and probably mentally hurt somebody because of the lies that I tell. As far as physically, no, I've never raised my hand to a woman. I've never beat anybody.
Why did you have a personal protection order against you for 2 years?
That's something that you mentioned. I've never been served. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about it. I still don't know anything about it. You also claimed online when you did or you didn't post my cheerleader profile, you said I'm a felon, which I'm not.
You would be a felon. I don't care if you're talking.
I don't care.
I do. I do.
You just want to talk about yourself. That's fine.
Both of you stop. It doesn't help if 2 people are talking at once. Say what you're saying. Go ahead and say it.
I agreed to come on the Dr. Phil show because I was like, holy crap. I did damage to that woman that I didn't even know that I did.
You didn't know that asking me to have sex with you after we had broken up, after everything was done, knowing that I was trying to repair my life, repair the damage that you had done to me psychologically and spiritually, if not anything else, that asking me to have sex with you because you claimed that you had cancer and in order to be able to have the treatments done and you see me crying in a car, that's not something you realize you hurt me with?
No, I didn't. And I apologize.
Then you
for
are
that.
Completely oblivious of everything.
I was oblivious. Yes, I was. And for that, I'm truly sorry.
I'm sorry means absolutely nothing.
I'm sorry. He told you what?
Thanks, Dr. Phil. He said that he had cancer, testicular cancer. I told him to go pay for it if he absolutely had to, but because he knew that I was empathetic, because he knew that we had that connection, because he knew that I wouldn't want anything detrimental to happen to him, he was willing to use that with me so that I felt bad enough that I was willing to do something like that.
Did you?
And I did.
Well, it took 17 years, but I finally asked one too many questions.
Thanks, Dr. Phil.
Well, I asked a question, you gave an answer. And so that was all a lie.
Yes, sir, it was.
That's really
Yes, it is.
Two more ex-girlfriends say they're ready to speak out against Eric and his actions. We'll hear from them next.
We're here to be honest, right? Let's be honest. And rightfully so.
Honest that you take up for
Rightfully
him
so.
and you don't need to because he needs help and he is dangerous.
I feel like Eric is extremely reckless. He's completely clueless about the amount of damage that he's done in my life and other people's lives.
Some of his ex-girlfriends have ended up homeless and lost their jobs.
I've pretty much had enough of Eric's behavior, especially regarding children. So Eric has agreed to have a vasectomy. He needs to stop right now, and that's the way to guarantee it. Put him out of commission.
If somebody says I'm reckless or dangerous, I would wholeheartedly disagree with them. You know, I may hurt your feelings, but you're never in any physical danger with me.
I said there are two other women that have weighed in. I have statements from them. I want to share them. One is from Courtney. It reads, Eric and I were together when I was in college in 2010 and on and off until about a year ago. I was lied to constantly, made to look a fool in front of my friends and loved ones. I was told of businesses and properties that may have existed but never in the hands of Eric Williams. My best friends and I were promised an incredible spring break vacation on his yacht. I typed up invites and special instructions. We packed up my best friend's truck and drove to Galveston to wait at an empty shipyard for a boat that never showed because it was never real. Promises of weddings, houses, condos, families, and cars that never came to exist. Now I have a hard time trusting men. I was angry with myself for spending so much time with a man who didn't have my best interest at heart. So that's Courtney. Then Tori says, I met Eric Xavier Williams, October 2016 on a dating website. He was a widower, single father of two, entrepreneur, and Stanford University graduate. Eric had the gift of gab, and often I would call him a used car salesman because he was always pitching something. Eric came to the first date with an overnight bag and a tale that his wallet and ID were stolen. Eric would occasionally disappear to go to work, but I later found out he had another girlfriend during the same time. Eric vowed to help pay rent. After all his delusions of grandeur and false promises, I got evicted. May 2018 and had to move in with friends so my daughter could finish school. Eric showed at my friend's house and stayed 1 week in June of 2018. It was the last time I ever communicated with Eric Xavier Williams. My hope is he stops preying on vulnerable women and leaving debt and babies in the wake of his antics.
Agree.
What do you say about what those two have to say?
I would say that they're absolutely valid.
Okay, so there's an anonymous website on cheating, and there's been some things posted on there that are posted by Anonymous, the truth about you.
It's not anonymous, it's her. It's not a secret.
Did you post that stuff up there?
That's something I don't really want to talk about.
Okay, that's all right. And it just says the truth about Eric, sociopath, narcissist, widowed, wallet, just all the stuff that we're talking about here. So you're not saying whether you posted it or not, but you certainly would have. You certainly would have had the experience to have posted it. I mean, you could have.
Anybody can post on there.
Yeah, but you sent me a copy of it, so I know you posted it. I mean, we're here to be honest, right? Let's be honest. You posted it, and rightfully so.
Honest that you take up for him, and you don't need to because he needs help and he is dangerous.
I don't stick up for
do.
Eric.
You
I
do.
do not.
You did yesterday,
I agree
and you are today.
He told me that you were physically and sexually abusive to him. He told her that you were racist.
Was not.
He told other women that you were dead.
Am not.
So he tried to keep us away from you.
Wait a second. I told you my mom's racist?
You
That's
told
a
her.
flat-out lie.
His mom
You're
is
lying.
not racist.
How does that feel?
Well, that is what I was told. That I was told that by your mother.
Are you
I was told that by your mother.
Stop for a minute. Stop for a minute. You just said she just told an ugly lie about you. How does it feel?
I got it coming. I totally got it coming. Dr. Phil, I knew when I came here that I was going to get ran over the bus.
How does that feel?
It feels bad.
For her to...
It feels bad, and I deserve it. You know, the crowd, you know, obviously they take some sort of liking to it, and I should. I'm a jerk.
I talked about the lack of empathy. We did what we call screen grabs of your face while they were talking about their pain. I talked about the lack of empathy, and you know, while these two were kind of sharing some of their emotional pain, we did what we call screen grabs of your face while they were talking about their pain. An absolute lack of compassion, emotion, just really certainly no emotional connection. So you know, you said that you came here to get some help, and this is it. You know, empathy is really important. And what does that mean to you? This isn't a test, but what does it mean to you? If you don't know exactly how to describe it, it's okay. I'm just curious what it means to you.
I think empathy and sympathy are very similar.
They're not at all.
I think that being able to put yourself in somebody's shoes and understand how they feel.
That's empathy.
Is extremely important. As I said to Tiffany earlier, I did things and said things to her that were evil. I really believe that. Mm-hmm. And I hurt her, and I don't think I ever realized how bad I hurt her until just now. And I'm trying to listen to her and trying to listen to Yashika so that I can understand exactly what I did to them.
Well, I want to show you a list of, there's a lot of research about why people lie. Like, number one is to take what's not rightfully theirs. Like, take credit for something they didn't earn or do, so they lie to take what's not rightfully theirs. Like, I did this, or I earned this, or I have this credential or something. They take what's not rightfully theirs. They do it to escape accountability. Like, I didn't do that. I didn't, you know, I'm not the guilty party here. Or to create a fantasy, a false self-esteem to escape their mundane life.
I would say that's pretty good.
To avoid punishment, to inflict pain on others, to feel better in the moment, to steal admiration, you know, to get a hero moment, to gain an advantage, to exploit others. When you look at these, I mean, do they all fit? Do some of them fit? What do you think fits you here?
I would say all of them, except for inflict pain. I don't ever go into a situation hoping to inflict pain on somebody.
I think from looking at it, this most definitely, you create this alter ego. You create a fantasy of false esteem to escape a mundane life. I mean, you make up all of these things. You don't tell people who you really are, and that you don't have a job, that you're living with your mother, that you don't have any money. You don't. So you create, oh, I'm going to buy you a mansion and cars and all of this. You create a fantasy of false self-esteem to escape the reality of who you are. So, I mean, that seems to be very clear. This seems to be very clear because it's tied to that. You certainly do it to feel better in the moment. I mean, you get those hero moments, and you definitely do it to gain an advantage and exploit others. That's how you get women. I mean, you make them believe you're somebody you're not. And you say you don't do it to inflict pain, but yet you certainly inflict pain. So you're all up and down the list. Now, these aren't the only reason people lie. I mean, for those of you at home, people also lie to protect others' feelings sometimes. You know, there are moral reasons actually to lie, but I'm talking about when you're lying in a toxic way. And you ask if you can get better. You know, it really depends. And there are some things you have to do and some things you guys have to do if this dynamic is going to change at all. And I'm going to tell you what it is after the break. Now, while we're in commercial break, I want to ask a couple of questions of all of you guys. Who here has subscribed to my new podcast, Fill in the Blanks? Raise your hand if you have. Okay, so have you? Yeah. You subscribed?
Yes, I have.
All right, you enjoying it?
I love it.
All right, see, you hear that? She's subscribed. Now, how old are you?
19.
19, of course she subscribed. 19-year-olds do this like that, right? Bang, bang, bang.
Fingers.
Okay, who has not subscribed? Fess up. You've not subscribed? Stand up. The hell are you thinking? So you've not subscribed?
I have not, no.
Why?
I don't know.
Get your phone out. Everybody get your phone out. Okay, let me show you how. Do y'all know what fill in the blanks is? You don't even know? Okay. I'm doing a podcast, which is different from the Dr. Phil show in that I get to talk to all kinds of people and I don't have to solve problems. I want to tell you how to do it. We're going to all subscribe right now. Don't worry, it's free. Doesn't cost you anything. All right, everybody get your phone out and turn it on and go to your home screen and find this little purple icon that looks like a microphone. Click on it, and then in order to find mine, go to where it says search, and you click on the little magnifying glass, and then type in fill in the blanks. Now, when you go to fill in the blanks, there's a little button here that says subscribe. Yes. Push that. Bang, you are subscribed.
I'm done.
What do you think of that?
That's awesome, thank you.
Okay, now, in my new episode that drops today, it's called Living by Design. I'm going to partner with you to discover who you are and, more importantly, how you got there. Take a look. I'm starting a series where I'm talking about filling in the blanks in your lives. I want you to get an edge in your life. The only person you have to control to make a huge change in your life is you. What I want you to do is start living by design. I want you to have a definition of what success is in your life. I want us to come away with a plan that you can get excited about. And that's what this series is all about. Like in that particular episode, I'm talking to you about how not to become emotionally bankrupt so you're not there for the people that you care about and care about you. And I'm going to ask you a really serious question in this particular episode, which is, how much fun are you to live with? Now, have you ever thought about that? Just how much fun are you to wake up with every single day? And if the answer is not much, you need to listen to this one twice, okay? And then at some point in this series, I'm going to give you the 7 core characteristics of a champion that I've put together over the last 30 years. You're not going to believe that. They're there every time somebody winds up being a winner. And then other times I'm talking to celebrities like Shaq, I've done Jay Leno, Kathy Bates. You're going to find out things about them you didn't know. You just thought you knew. So in order to start living by design, subscribe to Fill in the Blanks today so you don't miss an episode, because it starts today. It's entertaining, it's enlightening, and more importantly, it's free. Okay? All right, we got to get back to the show. All right. Tiffany, Sheikah, I want to start with you two. There's power in forgiveness, and I want to say that forgiveness has nothing to do with the person you forgive. It has nothing to do with them deserving or not deserving forgiveness. It has nothing to do with them making amends or anything of the sort. Forgiveness is all about you. Because if you are locked in bitterness, hatred, angst, anger towards somebody, that's a lot of energy invested in that person. It's like you're locked into a bond with them because you've got to say, I withdraw from this. And, you know, judgment is God's job, not mine. Mm-hmm. So you go forth and do whatever you're going to do. I'm moving on. And I really hope that you will do that. You have come here, thank you very much for doing this, by the way. And you have helped not just people that might encounter him in their lives, you have helped millions of women. We're on all over the United States and something like 50 foreign countries. And people are watching this that'll say, you know what, I need to start checking a few things out with this new guy. You have helped millions of women in relationships. They're going to say, I'm going to get out my computer and start checking some stuff out about this old boy. So by having the courage to share your story, you've used your lives and your experience to help millions of women, and thank you for doing that. Here's the problem. You know, emotionally, you're very immature. I mean, it's stunted in some way. I can't diagnose you sitting here, but I can tell you if I were to see you, which I won't, in a private situation, and when I say I can't diagnose you, to do that, I would probably put you through a very extensive battery of psychometric tools. I would do a structured interview. I would do all kinds of things and come up with some diagnostic conclusion. But I can tell you what would be on the short list at the beginning. It would be sociopathic personality, antisocial personality, borderline personality disorders, all of these things that have to do, narcissistic personality, all of these things that have to do with a lack of appropriate social emotional development, all tied together by immaturity. Here's the problem. People like that, if you did fit one of those criteria, sometimes they tend to get worse, not better in therapy, because all they do is learn how to mimic what they're not doing, and it makes them better con men. So you have to have a really good, savvy person that teaches you what you really need, and that is to have enough self-regard that you don't feel the need to lie. That's the issue here. You're smart enough to know that lying is wrong. You're smart enough to know that it hurts people. What you don't have is the confidence to say, you know what? I'm going to take the risk of being me and find out whether they'll let me hang around just for being me without having to embellish the story. And that's a risk you haven't been willing to take. And I am willing to handpick you some professional help, someone that won't buy into, be conned by, or let you slide, and get you some help to learn how to relate as who you are and get your self-esteem to the point that you don't feel the need to lie. But if you're willing to work at it, I will get you someone that will find out what's going on and help you. But I'll tell you what, it's going to require a lot of transparency, and they're going to hold your feet to the fire. And you start playing games, I will instruct them to kick you to the curb in a New York minute. But if you're willing to do the work, I'll get you a really top-notch professional that will work with you. You willing to take that help?
Absolutely.
All right, fair enough. All right, we'll do it. All right, I want to thank all of my guests today. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and don't forget to subscribe to my new podcast called Fill in the Blanks. We'll see you next time.
Today on Dr. Phil.
You're aggressive and you're passive aggressive, and the children pick up the tab for both of you. You say, get a lawyer. You declared this to be open warfare.
They have a mother who is poisoning them.
You have alienated these kids on your own. I asked those two kids if they wanted a relationship with you to be standing on the other side of that door, so open the door. Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Yesterday, exes Libby and Brian didn't even make it past where I'm standing right now because I refused to allow them on stage. They were dead set on throwing each other under the bus and more interested in presenting stacks of evidence against each other than putting their children first. I did not think they were ready to have an honest conversation with me. Will that change today? I don't know, but here's what happened yesterday.
I've lived every day for the last 6 years in hell, having been abandoned by my kids. I've watched Libby teach these kids that I'm abusive, controlling, angry, but there's no evidence of that.
Brian constantly accuses me of alienating the children. It's his fault. Brian intimidates me and is bullying me. Brian has been physical. One time he pinned my oldest daughter, Anna, up against the wall and threw her out the door. I live in fear.
What do y'all think about what you're saying about each other?
It's hateful.
It's not accurate. There's a number of things on there that are not accurate. I pinned Anna against the wall.
Why are you keeping score so much? Why are you guys playing this tit-for-tat game if all you want is a unified family? I didn't hear you say or you say, what can I do different to come out with a different outcome? You guys can be right fighters or you can look for a solution. I'm going to give you guys a chance to think about that, and you will or you won't.
My dad's anger towards my mom consumes his life. When I stand up for my mom, he gets hostile and abusive.
Right now I have no relationship with my dad. I haven't spoken to him in probably 6 months. My dad has basically excommunicated me from his life.
What do you think about what I had to say to them?
There's been years of this blame game and not taking responsibility for actions.
This has taken a toll on you, is it not?
Yeah. I grew up really close to my dad, and I haven't had a relationship with him for 7 years now.
Your mother is passive-aggressive. She's driving him nuts, and he goes for it every time. He's been physical with you.
Right.
And you.
One time, I met her at the door, wouldn't let her in the house.
I shoved past him, and he then pinned me up against the wall by my neck and then threw me out onto the concrete stairs.
But one time I disobeyed him, and as I brushed past him to get out of the door, he punched me in the throat. I punched him in the chest.
Do either one of you think you're betraying your mother if you have a healthy relationship with your father?
Absolutely not.
Are you prepared to tell her you want to have a relationship with him if he behaves himself?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, did we catch how they spent their time?
Not very productively.
Let me see.
This is what you do with the kids. You bring them into all of this. He's just such a jerk and he won't cooperate, when in fact it's you that's not cooperating. Yet you twist it all around to the kids that I'm such an ass. So,
Brian,
so
you won't
you
even
have
work
a
with me.
You're hostile, you're aggressive,
No.
and you have zero responsibility for anything that you do.
This is how they spent that time.
See, it's just one time, and he's just such a jerk, and
What?
he won't.
Come on.
He won't be.
You were fighting over where you live, a court order concerning the children's pickup times, you accusing her of bad-mouthing you. Tell me how that leads to unifying this family.
I'm to the point now, after all these years, that I'm just damn frustrated. I went from being, in her words, a phenomenal dad to being the family abuser overnight. For the...
What do you want to happen?
I want my children to have a relationship with both of their parents and not feel guilty.
Have you sabotaged their relationship with him?
No.
You made it difficult for him to have visitation with him?
No, not at all.
So did you block communication with him for 6 months?
Yes.
How is that not sabotaging their relationship? He's still there without his children. He's still there feeling that his children are alienated from him. You play into her hands. You overshadow everything she does with your outrageous behavior. Both of you are doing really sabotaging things, and your kids are paying the price. Come on. Let's go out there and do something different. The kids are not here right now. I asked them to step out because I don't want them here right now. Now, I've asked you a lot of questions back there about whether you've sabotaged this situation or not, and you said not intentionally, but you recognize changing schools and not telling their father they've changed schools is not a good thing, right?
Yeah, I told him, though. I let him know.
Let him know when? Before you moved him or after you moved him?
I believe the day before. It wasn't?
Not quite. You moved them twice and didn't tell me.
Okay.
Now, you sent us a lot of evidence. You sent us a lot of evidence. And you said, I have no idea what I can change. I said, if I show you some things, you're willing to change them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Come with me. We're going to take a look at some things. And first, let's just take a look at her evidence. Now,
that, by the way, is not her evidence. Those are the police reports that are
This is what she
initiated
sent
by,
us.
Of course she did, but those are police reports initiated by this dad.
Yeah. Well, I want to focus on some of these things. Let's just pick a few of these things, and you tell me. I mean, let's start with this one. These are your text messages to her. Okay, you said, what can I do to change? Is this something you can change?
Absolutely.
So you said, I don't know what I could change, but this would be something you could change, right? You could stop sending her derogating text messages. You're a waste of breath and time. You're a joke of a mother. I can't wait for you to answer to God. You're nothing but a child abuser. I mean, to stop that kind of rhetoric in the relationship would help.
Absolutely. You know, this is inexcusable. I agree with that. This is not right, and I am ashamed of that. I'm not right. That's not right. But this is not out of the blue. This is after having, and everybody can judge me all they want. Judge me all you want, but this is.
Okay, are you really want to spend your time defending this?
No. No, I just told you. I know that's not right, but okay. There's a long history that pushes anybody over the cliff.
But so you do want to spend your time defending it?
I just told you that's something I can stop.
Okay.
But again. Well,
I mean, no, seriously, do you really want to be right so bad?
No,
I mean, listen, did I take her to task on the schools? Did I take her to task on blocking the contact? Did I take her to task on all of those things or not? It's not like this is a one-sided story here.
Exactly.
And did you not hear me taking her to task on those things?
A little bit.
A little. Okay. Okay, so we've got this, and that's not something that you are proud of. You say there's a but there.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
But my opinion doesn't seem to matter.
Okay, you know what? If you want to be the victim, we're done.
I'm here to fix. Well, okay, we can be done.
You got a restraining order, and you took it to your daughter's school. They were informed that a parent was chasing their daughter through the school.
There was no chasing her through the school.
So this is a lie. Do you want to do this, or do you want to be a right fighter?
I've told you repeatedly, I don't care about being right.
Then why do you keep arguing to be right?
Because I too have a perspective. I have a perspective. This is all inflammatory, and yes, that comes, and again, that's not right. But this comes from 25 years of keeping my mouth shut and being pushed over the cliff. This isn't just off the top of my head abusive. Just being abusive.
Your question
there's a long series of events that have pushed me over that cliff that I think anybody would feel much the same way.
Okay.
Is that not fair to
No,
say?
that's okay, sure. Okay, I acknowledge that.
And I acknowledge that I'm wrong in doing that. I'm embarrassed about that.
I acknowledge there's a 25-year history that has pushed you to the brink and agitated you to the point of doing some of the things you've done. What else would you like me to say?
Nothing.
No, I'm serious. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm serious.
I just, as long as you understand that is not my character. That is not who I am. But yes, I've been in unbelievable pain over this for 6 years. And I think most people would feel the same way that I do.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's all.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. You asked me if there was anything that you had done that I thought you could change. And you got a restraining order, correct?
Yes.
And you took it to your daughter's school to tell her about it.
Correct.
And this says that they were informed that a parent was chasing their daughter through the school, located Brian standing outside the bathroom. Daughter was inside the bathroom. He told the daughter about the order, which made her upset, and they began to argue. The daughter took off running.
Mm-hmm. This does not include the fact that the principal was there, that the school police officer was there. There was no chasing her through the school.
So this is a lie.
No, that's not a lie, but that's not the whole story. Mm-hmm. I did not chase anybody through the school. And yes, there was a restraining order, and I had the responsibility, based on that restraining order, to collect my daughter from school that day. How should I have handled that? I don't know.
Not by going to school, which is her social domain, and taking a domestic situation public with her in the school arena. In retrospect, don't you wish you had not done that?
I don't know
how. Don't you wish you had chatted her up privately about that?
The situation was not such that I could chat her up at all. At all. Mm-hmm. She has completely, at that point, erased me, and it just wasn't like that. It wasn't. I didn't have that opportunity. I couldn't. How was I supposed to get her? Here I have now a restraining order that the courts recognize that she's in, as the court says, immediate and irreparable harm if left with Libby. Mm-hmm. So how am I to go about that? I can't go to the house and get her. I have a non-cooperative counterparent there. How else could I have done that? So I'm working with the school counselor. It's not like I'm this dad running to the school and chasing her through the school. I'm working with the school counselor and the principal.
Do you think
and
that
everybody
endeared
that's
you to
involved. No, I've been non-endeared to her for a long time.
So that didn't endear you to her?
No.
Did it make you feel better?
No. The whole thing makes me sick. But what am I to do?
Not that.
What?
Not that. How
do I collect my daughter after the series of events that's caused her to be in this state. See, we haven't even talked about what's brought us to this point.
Well, okay, let's do this. Let's just go down here and take a look at what the court has said. The court has said expectations for you. Avoid victim thinking, which encourages anger and withdrawal in response to conflict. Make an apology to the children, taking responsibility for each of the children's concern. Improve parenting skills such as empathy, nurturing, flexibility, while avoiding critical and demanding behavior. Learn to avoid making critical comments about the preferred parent to the child, arguing that the child has been brainwashed. Those were the court's expectations. They're not mine. That's what the court said.
Custody evaluator, yeah.
As an officer of the court?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You want to argue about that?
No, I'm not arguing. No.
Yes, you are. I said the court said. You said, well, custody evaluator.
Yeah. These are recommendations from the custody evaluator.
Which is an officer of the court.
Yes. Yes, I understand that.
You could do those things.
Yes. And I am working on those things.
That was the first time you declared this to be open warfare.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
You're inside, he's outside, and you say, get a lawyer, buddy. You have children that have said that there's been a protective order that said that you have gotten angry and been mentally abusive and grabbed your minor daughter, which is physical abuse.
Yeah. Pretty sad allegations.
Doesn't mean it's true.
That's exactly right.
But it's a perception.
That's exactly right.
And
doesn't mean that it's true.
And I acknowledge that. I'm just saying, but that's what this is deteriorated to.
Yeah, that is a perception. They have all kinds of perceptions that are not true.
Mm-hmm. And there was an incident that started it all.
Okay.
Right? So let's take a look at that. This is 11/4/12. This is against her. Brian, trying to pick up his daughter and ex-wife, would not allow it. Children inside the apartment complex wouldn't answer the door, knew we were outside. Libby had changed the children's school without telling him. Libby was uncooperative, stated would not be allowing the children to go with Brian. It was informed to Brian to get a lawyer. Okay? That was the first time that you declared this to be open warfare. Mm. Correct? Mm-hmm. And when he says there's a history to all of this, that's part of the history he's talking about, right?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
You're inside, he's outside, and you say, get a lawyer, buddy.
Yeah.
But yet you say, no, I haven't done anything to sabotage this.
Right.
I don't care how flat you make a pancake, it's got two sides.
Yes, it does.
And there are other things as well. And we can take a look at that. These are 87 reasons Brian presented to the court to obtain restraining orders. And you can go through this list, and some of this perception, some of it's reality. Ignored 54 right of refusal written requests. That means if you don't have a babysitter, he gets to be that, right?
Right.
But and so he says, I want to do that. You ignored 54 written requests, ignored 24 out of 27 written requests confirming girls being cared for, ignored 16 written requests asking daughters to call him. I mean, schedules activities during his parenting time, repeatedly blocks him from communication. Jessica failed 41% of her classes, made 2 life-threatening decisions in your care, moved daughters and refused new address for 2 months. All of these things go on and on and on, which is what he's talking about is the history that precedes all of this behavior that makes you look like you're not making good choices. You think I don't do my homework? You think I don't get this? I get it. I know. I read every piece of paper you sent, and it was a lot. Now, have I represented it here? I get it. seriously, you're aggressive and you're passive aggressive.
Right.
And the children pick up the tab for both of you.
Hey, I could explain to you some of those,
I have
but
no
it's
doubt.
not worth it.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not worth it for either one of you.
Right.
Both of you are impeachable as contributing to the fragmentation of this family. What I want to talk about is what we have to do to stop it. Because at some point you have to say, I'm going to hit the reset button, and we start from here forward. Not even God can change what has happened, but you start from here and you move forward. But that takes somebody's being able to say, you know, it's a new day. Brian says all he wants to do is sit down and look his children in the eyes and ask, what did I do to you? Well, will his children give him that chance? Does it really matter? We're going to talk about that after the break. You have alienated these kids on your own.
How's that? I have not included my children in this divorce. Have I? Have I?
It's Tuesday. That means the newest episode of my podcast, Fill in the Blanks, is available now. Hey, I'm sitting down with the hottest man in football, and he's not even playing. I'm talking about Tony Romo. He's a dad, he's got 3 kids, and he has set the booth on fire as the #1 color commentator in football. You're going to learn a lot about Tony Romo you didn't know. He is special.
Subscribe for free on Apple Podcast or Stitcher so you don't miss an episode.
You feel like you've been erased from your kids' lives. And I think that I've acknowledged to you that she has intentionally or otherwise, I think it's some of both, has been very passive-aggressive in some things that have sabotaged you. I think you're greatly underestimating yourself and your presence and your value in these kids' lives. And one thing I think you probably have come to realize is a parent can win a popularity contest in the moment, but as kids get older and mature and realize they were manipulated or programmed, intentionally or otherwise, the day's going to come where they're going to say, well, why did you do that? Why did you manipulate my dad out of my life? And you don't want to be in that situation. And the more angry you've gotten, the more frustrated you've gotten, the more you have just become so easy to provoke that you've done things that have just
out of character,
sabotaged yourself.
Yeah.
I've talked to your children, and they tell me they make the better argument for you than you could ever make for yourself, because they say that's not who you are.
That's right.
But they say that's who you've become.
Unfortunately, that's true.
And you have alienated these kids on your own. I'm not saying she hasn't helped, but you've done some things that have really made these kids worried.
How's that?
You wrote an email to your daughter about somebody pulling somebody's head back and slitting their throat and said, here, this is your dream. Why don't you just do this with me? Isn't this your dream? You sent that to your daughter?
Yeah.
Now, come on.
I know. I've told
Would you say, what do you mean? That's what I mean, that kind of stuff.
I've made a bunch of mistakes.
But they don't think that's who you are. They think that's who you're becoming, and that's what I mean when I say you need to stop.
I do have a perspective, and I do have an explanation. So why is that not acceptable for me to express that opinion? You're right. I am upset, but I'm not upset at my children. I have not included my children in this divorce. I have not conveyed. Have I? Have I? No, nobody.
You know, they've been drug into this by the two of you, by the conduct of the two of you.
I have not shared half, 90% of the stuff that I get from me to my kids. I have not included them in this divorce on any level like she has. Not on any level, by any stretch of the imagination, have I included these kids. Yes, I'm angry at her. I'm angry at her because I've watched all 5 of my children now crash, go from being a happy, successful, tight-knit, loving family to watching my children make bad decisions because they're in such pain and so confused.
That's not my fault?
So am I angry? It is your fault if you bring these kids into a divorce. How is it ever acceptable to share divorce?
Do you think these kids have no ability to think for themselves?
I know that they have that ability, but they also have a love for a mother who is poisoning them and has poisoned them.
They love you,
and
too.
They have been you have been told.
They love you.
You have been told repeatedly by countless therapists that I could name that you have. In fact, DCFS, didn't DCFS come and do an investigation on both of us? Mm-hmm. What did they say? They came back and said, Brian, we can find no evidence whatsoever that you've abused your kids emotionally, physically, sexually, in any way. However, Libby, we recognize that you have completely destroyed the relationship with Anna, particularly, and the other 2 younger girls, that you've completely destroyed that relationship with their dad.
I asked those 2 kids if they wanted a relationship with you to be standing on the other side of that door, and you're going to get a clear answer whether you've been erased or whether you haven't. So open the door. You know, I ask your kids because they came here very anguished about what to do. They really did. And they're not here, but I made a promise to them that I was going to do everything I could do to get both of you to stop what you're doing and say nothing matters other than building a bridge and having that relationship. And they said, you won't own it and you will argue till you're blue in the face. And I said, well, no, give me a shot. Give me a shot. They thanked me for stopping you before you came out here and trying to kind of put a body check on you attitude-wise to look at this differently. And I said, if you feel like there's a chance, if you feel like there's hope, if you want that relationship and you're willing to work at it, then I want you to be prepared to step up as adults and claim it. And you say you've been erased. Come with me one more time. Every time you go with me, you hate it. But I asked those 2 kids to be completely honest with me and listen to everything that we had to say. And I told them at this point, if they wanted a relationship with you, to be standing on the other side of that door. And if they didn't, this was a chance for them to tell you once and for all what they wanted. And you're going to get a clear answer whether you've been erased or whether you haven't. So open the door. So tell me why you chose to be standing there.
Because I want more than anything a healthy relationship with my dad. Because I love him, and I've always loved him. Even through all this, I'm willing to look past every fault and have a healthy relationship with him.
What do you miss about your dad?
Everything. I miss his happy self. I miss his silly dad jokes.
Hey, those are good jokes.
Why were you standing there?
The same thing. I just
look him in the eye and tell him.
I miss having a good, productive, healthy relationship with you. Being able to look up to you and, you know, and ask you for advice and the things I need at this stage of my life. It would be nice to, you know, have you there for all of that.
There's nothing that I want more than all of this. It's why it's so difficult for me. That's why I'm angry, because this is all so unnecessary. And this is not right. There's nothing to justify this division that has come to our family.
Tell them you want to start now. The hell with what's happened. You want to start now.
Absolutely want to start now. Yeah, there's no question. I don't like airing our dirty laundry in front of anybody, let alone the world. But, you know, I did this out of love and respect for you, because I want this so desperately. And I don't know what else to do. I just don't know what else to do.
Well, if we sit down and they tell you what they want from you, what they need from you at this point in their life, you'll really hear that, right?
Absolutely.
Because you want to be long on ears and short on mouth, and you want to really hear, right? It's time to listen to them, because they want to tell you. Mm-hmm. There's going to be no comment about anything that's happened before right this minute. Everything forward looking. We'll be right back. Well, we're back with Brian, Libby, Anna, and Nate. I just made the comment to Brian, I only have them over here so he can make eye contact. This looks like a firing squad, but it's not. That's not the intention, and we can scramble these chairs at any time, but I just wanted you to be able to see each other. So that's why it's set up this way. Now, I have a rule, and we're going to follow my rules, my show. Look around. See the name on the wall? My name, my show. We get to do this the way I want to. I don't want any reference to anything that's happened before the end of this sentence. I want to talk just about future. Just about future. You talked about what you miss in your relationship with your dad. What do you want going forward? What would you like to have in your relationship with your dad going forward?
A healthy, positive relationship with you.
What would you like to do? I mean, let's put some verbs in this. What would you like to do? How would you like to spend time with him? What kind of things would you like to talk to him about?
My life. I don't feel like you know anything about my life, my marriage.
And you would like for him to?
I want to be able to share the happy moments with you. Call you when I have sad moments.
And when you do call him, what do you want from him?
Just love, positivity, a normal conversation. We haven't had a normal conversation without my mom being brought up or you expressing to me how angry you are, and I can't be that person for you.
We're talking about going forward here. So you're saying you want you want to be able to have a conversation without anger and venting. What would it mean to you to be around these two and not feel tension?
It'd be a miracle.
Is that a gift that you can give to your daughter? Is that a gift you can give to your daughter?
Yep.
What would that feel like if you knew you could do that? If you knew you were having an event and they could both show up and you didn't have to be looking and wondering, oh God, is this going to be a meltdown? What would that mean to you?
That would be awesome. That would be everything, really. That's
all we want.
Yeah.
And what's it feel like to you two to know that the thing they want most in life, you have the ability to give them? You have the ability to make that gift to them. What do you think about that? The thing they want most, you have the ability to give them.
Yeah, and I have a responsibility to do that.
Yeah. And the ability. I mean, it's not like he's asking you to get taller. It's not like he's asking you to, all of a sudden do some miracle. All you have to do is just be civil and run their agenda instead of your own. That's all it really takes to make them happy, which seems like a small thing. Doesn't mean it's easy, but it's a doable thing, right?
Yep.
My final thoughts when we come back. Earlier I sat down with Nate and Anna when you guys were back in the other room, and I was asking them if they ever felt like they were kind of betraying one or the other of you if they spent time with one versus the other, and they were saying, well, it kind of feels awkward like that. And I was explaining to them a way I wanted them to think about that. And we have just a little short clip of that. Let's take a look at what we talked about. Because you love them out of different accounts, don't you? Mm-hmm. You got a dad account and a mom account. Right. Mm-hmm. And loving dad 100% does not take one penny out of the mom account.
Right.
And loving mom 100% doesn't take one penny out of the dad account. They don't get that. That's what I want to try to get across to them.
Thank you.
Robin and I had a son, Jay, and we didn't have our second son until 7 years later. You love a child so much, you think you could never love your second child as much. You think you're supposed to, but you can't. And then when they come, you do. And our boys are different as daylight and dark, but the second one comes and you love that one as much as the first one. These are our boys, Jay and Jordan. And you love them as much as you did the first one, and you think, how can that be possible? Well, it's because you love them out of different accounts, right? You have a Nate account, and you have an Anna account, and it doesn't cost you anything to love your mom 100%. You're not betraying your dad one iota to be absolutely loyal to your mother 100%. It doesn't cost your mom one iota for you to be 100% loyal to your dad. That's not at your mother's expense because they're two separate accounts. You really can hit the reset button. And somebody needs to be a hero and say, it's a new day and I am going to be sickeningly lovable. And you're kind of intense. Be intensely lovable. I mean, just start a new day. Start a whole new account. I mean, you're sitting here with your son. That door flew open and they were both standing there for you. Honor that. You've not damaged it. Honor this with having a new start here. Fair enough?
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay? All right, I want to thank all of my guests today, and if you have a question for me, you please go to drphil.com, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and don't forget to subscribe to my new podcast called Fill in the Blanks. That's PHIL in the blanks. We have a lot of fun there, which sometimes here we have to work on stuff. There I just get to be fun. We'll see you next time.
Today on Dr. Phil.
Destiny is disrespectful. She makes threats. She throws tantrums. She's a bully.
She's an out-of-control teenager.
Where's this headed?
I don't know.
Do you care if you hurt somebody else's life?
I mean, that's their choice, not mine.
Do you think the pain drives any of this?
What pain?
And now,
you think you're a badass?
It's time
Get out of my face!
for a wake-up call.
You're a minor. Your mom's decided this.
Why are you waiting? Why? Let go of me!
You know, yesterday we met 14-year-old Destiny, who left our crew behind the scenes a bit shaken up with her aggressive and obstinate behavior. Now, Destiny's mother, Melissa, and grandmother, Michelle, worry her out-of-control antics will land her in jail, or even worse, get her killed. Here's what happened so far. Take a look.
My 14-year-old daughter, Destiny, is disrespectful, violent, and aggressive.
Just literally.
She's become so out of control and has such a major attitude.
The only reason why I'm here is because it was between foster care or Dr. Phil.
Would you like Dr. Phil to try to be able to help you?
I don't need this.
Small vocabulary.
I found her again and I said, hey, are you okay? And this is what we have here.
All right.
I'm serious. Get that out of my face. Get it out of my face.
All right. I wish I could talk to you right now, but I'll talk to you in a few minutes because I want to talk to mother and grandmother backstage. Michelle,
Nice
how are you?
Melissa.
Melissa, when there's trouble, you need to make a stand when they're 3, 4, and 5.
Correct.
She got kicked out of kindergarten. What's happened over the last 10 years?
When we did time out, she would just come out, and I'd actually have to sit in the corner with her.
If you put a child in a corner and you sit there with her, that's not time out.
To have somebody as unruly and disobedient as Des, Melissa kind of has to give in to her.
No, that's not true. Because if you start making those kind of excuses, and I don't even want you out there with me at the same time, because if you're enabling her that way, then you're in my way, you're not helping. Have you pulled knives on people and chased them around the house?
Yeah.
Tell me what gives you the right to do that.
I was mad. They made me mad. They got to do what they wanted, so why can't I?
I'm going to make your life blanking hell now. You said that in class, right?
Well, I told my teacher she had chlamydia.
Did you threaten to bring a gun to school and shoot students?
I didn't say I was going to bring a gun. I said he's lucky he doesn't have a bullet through his head. When I'm pissed off, it just comes to my head and I say it.
What are you trying to achieve? What's your purpose?
I don't know.
What you told me, Desi, is that you don't care what people think.
I don't.
Why are you so afraid that you're not going to be accepted?
I don't know, because that's just how I handle things.
Do you acknowledge that your mother is the head of this family?
No.
That tells me you're unsocialized, so you don't function in society.
Oh?
No, it does. It tells me that you're immature and you don't recognize the way the world works.
Is that so?
Yeah. You've heard it being said that she's talked about bringing a gun to school and shooting people at school. Now, unfortunately, we've had over 100 school shootings already this year. When you guys hear somebody talking about bringing a gun to school and shooting the place up, what do you think?
It gets me scared to go to school. Like, I don't want to go anymore.
Does it bother you if you hear somebody running up and down the hallways yelling and screaming like that?
Yeah.
Does it bother you that it affects other students?
No.
Not your problem?
No.
What do y'all think about what she's saying? Yeah.
I feel that you don't care for human life whatsoever. You're the type of person to, yeah, you would bring a gun, but
Hella funny.
you wouldn't do it because you're a coward and you hide.
Hella funny.
You hide behind your words, and she doesn't care that she could possibly ruin someone else's life.
Is that true? Do you care if you hurt somebody else's life?
I mean, that's their choice, not mine.
How is that their choice?
Well, it's your choice if you're the one that hurts the other person.
That's their choice to believe what I'm saying.
So they shouldn't take you seriously.
No.
Then why say it?
Because I do.
Where's this headed?
I don't know.
I mean, how are things going to be next year?
I don't know.
You know, people go around talking about shooting other people. That's not socialized. And I mean, we've just had it recently out here on the evening of May 23rd, 2014 in Isla Vista, California. 22-year-old Elliot Rodger killed 6 people and injured 14 near the campus of the University of California, Santa Barbara before killing himself inside his vehicle. Take a look.
Breaking news in Santa Barbara County. A gunman went on a rampage overnight near UC Santa Barbara.
CPR in progress. Okay, we got another gunshot victim at 7-Eleven. Shots fired, shots fired.
Oh my God.
And we have 3 down, but I need 3 ambulances here.
Investigators say that those gunshots started ringing out at about 9:30. They say Elliot Rodger, the shooter, was simply driving up and down the streets of Isla Vista, opening fire, randomly shooting people. In addition to the 6 people who were killed, 13 more were injured in the melee. Most of them were shot. However, 4 of them were struck by his vehicle while they were riding their bicycles here in this community.
Elliot Rodger was very clever and very adept at convincing people that he was functional and not a threat to himself or others.
He said he not only convinced friends and family, but also mental health professionals and law enforcement officers.
Well, Julia was a student at UC Santa Barbara during this shooting. Julia, thank you for being here. We've been talking about her making these threats about going to school, shooting people, taking guns to school. What's your reaction to that?
My first reaction sitting here this entire time was thinking that if somebody had done something when Elliot Rodgers had threatened to shoot up the school, he uploaded multiple videos to YouTube. I mean, he told a lot of people that he was going to do this. He made people aware, and that's what she's doing.
What do you say to Destiny?
Honestly, first and foremost, the world doesn't revolve around you. I think that she's spending so much time thinking about herself, and she has no care for anybody around her. You know, somebody said, you know, care for human life before. I mean, she needs to get a grip on reality.
Now, I said there's a second question after the break. What drives any of this?
Don't ask that question.
When your dad went to prison. So you
Obviously.
are feeling pain.
My dad left, stupid.
Melissa emailed me because she says her 14-year-old daughter, Destiny, is aggressive, violent, and a bully. I said I had 2 questions for you. One is if you acknowledge that there's a hierarchy and that somebody is going to be in a position of authority always. You said, no, I don't acknowledge the hierarchy. I don't acknowledge that the teachers run the school, the parents run the family. My second question is, do you have any insight or understanding into what causes you the pain that you're experiencing?
What? Pain.
Do you think that you are experiencing pain that drives any of this?
When your dad went to prison?
Don't ask that question.
Is it correct? When your dad went to prison?
No, definitely not.
So you are feeling pain?
Yeah. My dad left, stupid.
But you just said you weren't feeling any pain. But this didn't stem from that.
Okay. Your point?
Well, I was the one that asked the question, and my question was,
Okay, she opened her mouth, so.
do you recognize whether or not that pain has left you raw, that pain has left you where you're striking out at other people out of pain?
I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I don't have an answer for you. That happened when I was 4. I didn't know anything when I was 4. He left in a police car while we were in an expedition when I was 4. I didn't know what I was feeling.
But she knew what car she was in.
But that's not how it happened anyways. He went to court and he left from the courtroom. He
Yeah.
never left in a police
So
car.
we didn't get arrested?
No.
Or we didn't
That
get
was-
pulled over by
That
police?
had nothing to do with this. That had to do with him
Okay,
driving
well
without
then
a
that was
license.
another thing.
Okay.
Listen, ladies, for God's sakes, don't argue details about something. She's telling you what she remembers. It doesn't matter what actually happened. This isn't history class. We're talking about what she recalls. And it was about the same time that you started throwing chairs in kindergarten and preschool and being disruptive, and it's never stopped since.
I wasn't throwing chairs when I was kindergarten and preschool because they were blocks. Like
So
little
you got
square.
suspended from kindergarten for throwing blocks.
I don't know. Maybe,
you
I
have-
don't know. I'm not going to be able to remember that.
Do you have unfinished emotional business about all of that and with your father? Does it make you feel funny? Does it
Yeah, it does.
cause you to have feelings inside that keep you from being peaceful, keep you from being happy?
It does. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody would be hurt if their dad left when they were 4.
Yeah, sure.
They didn't have anybody to grow up with.
Yeah.
Nobody to teach them that somebody else loves them than just their mom. I'm pretty sure everybody would feel hurt if they really had to go to a father, daughter, or dads and donuts or something like that. I'm pretty sure they would all be heartbroken knowing their dad doesn't care about them. Wouldn't you?
No, it would definitely have a big impact on me, absolutely.
Like
Totally get that.
it hurts, but like, you know he's never coming back.
You are on a collision course with disaster. It's your time to step up.
And if I don't?
Well, that's your mother's decision, because she's the mother.
Yeah, try again.
You know, here's the way I think about this. I think about it like everybody has a psychological skin. And it's kind of like you've ever been really sunburned really bad and somebody comes and pats you on the back. And if you're really sunburned, it's like, oh my God, it just kills me. If you weren't sunburned, that wouldn't even register. Right. But if you are sunburned, the same little tap, it just creates a lot of pain. And your psychological skin is burned. You've been hurt. You've been burned by this situation with your father. And now any little thing that touches your psychological skin hurts so bad that you react in a really bad way. So it doesn't take much. Can you recognize how that would cause you to be on edge and easily provoked into angry behavior, rebellious behavior?
I don't know, just like, I think about that on the daily. Like, I really do. Like, I really think about that. Like, my feelings aren't easily hurt. It takes a lot to hurt my feelings. You could call me ugly and come at me sideways, and I'll come at you sideways just as hard. But then I think about that every single day, at least 3 times a day, which nobody knows because you don't understand. Because I can't open up to you. You'll be like, that's why you need a counselor.
That's why I have you in counseling,
And
so you
then-
can.
And so I can't open up to her about it, or she'll be like, oh, you're just crying for attention. Okay, I'm being serious. I don't have anyone to talk to. You're always busy with the girls, so I'm not gonna talk to you or bother you about it. And then when I do, you're like, get over it, you have a life. That's all you say. And so I don't have anyone to talk to, so then I keep it in. And you wonder why I don't open up about my feelings. She's always wondering, why don't you talk about your feelings? Why do you let it build up in you? Let them out. Go to a counselor. A counselor isn't going to help. I don't trust people. I have trust issues.
I understand that.
So I can't trust the counselor right then and there. I can't be like, oh yeah, this is what happened. Da, 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 da. The only reason why I trust you is because I know people that you've helped.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I trust you. I don't trust any of you. I don't know them.
They're okay with that.
I want a mom that actually listens, that understands.
I do listen, but you explode.
Because you tell me to get over it.
That's not what I tell you.
Then what do you tell me?
I tell you all the time that you need to open up, but when you don't open up about those things, you open up about the things that make you mad that your sisters do, or that who pissed you off at school.
Because I don't feel comfortable telling you about what actually is going on. Telling me I can't get over someone I've known my entire life. Smart, okay.
Well, what she's trying to tell you is there's a big difference between topics and issues.
Correct.
You know, topics can be sisters, school,
right,
what's happening that day. And you can fight about those things because they're safe.
Right.
But the underlying issue can be something much more serious, like feelings of abandonment, feelings of self-worth, that if I'd been better, then my father would have behaved better so he could stay in my life. Right. There could be 1,000 different things that could be functioning at an issue level, but it's real scary to give those things a voice. And frankly, that's probably over your pay grade.
Right.
It's like she's saying, I don't talk to you about it, and when I try to, you don't handle it well. You probably don't know what to say. You probably don't know how to say about it. So she's probably reading you exactly right.
Right.
That, no, I don't open up to you about that because you don't know how to handle it.
Right.
But then you say, I don't talk to counselors about it because I don't trust them. So I keep it inside. And that's why I said, I think pain is driving a lot of this behavior, and you got to deal with it in some way. And Destiny says she knows where she wants to be mentally. She knows she can be better, and I agree with her, and I'm going to tell Mom what I think she needs to do to step up and take charge of this situation, be the parent, and lead this family when we come back.
Why are you so angry? They're going down.
I don't get up because I still have to stay with you.
That's not the problem.
You're the problem.
On numerous occasions, Destiny took promiscuous photos of herself and posted them all over social media.
Sitting on the bathroom counter in thong underwear and a tank top, taking pictures of herself in the mirror of the back of her. They were provocative pictures.
Destiny did these things when she was in 7th or 8th grade.
I think Destiny posted these photos to get attention.
My heart kind of sunk. There isn't a reason for her to post things like that. All it does is bring the wrong kind of attention.
I want to talk for a minute about where I think we are, just so we know. I made a list. This is where we are now. Right now, Destiny is disrespectful. She's mouthy. She makes threats. She knocks holes in the wall. She has no edit button. She has no impulse control. She throws tantrums. She's a bully. She has problems with authority. She's just in conflict with authority. She gets in fights in school, conflict at school. This is pretty much where she is right now, right? This makes up your life. This makes up your day. This is what defines you right now. This is the squeaky wheel. This is why you get all the attention. You're not the problem. The problem is the family. This is the wheel squeaking. Here's where you aren't yet. Where you aren't yet is you don't have a bad criminal act yet. Right now, you don't have grand theft auto. She hasn't stolen your car or someone else's yet. She's not in hard drugs yet. She's not into prostitution yet because she's run away and run out of money. She's not done some kind of felony like armed robbery or something. She's talking about guns. She's not dealing drugs at this point.
She is.
Well, she hasn't been caught and charged with dealing heroin or meth or whatever.
Correct.
These things are where she isn't yet, but I'm telling you, that's where you're headed.
Correct.
I've been doing this for 45 years, and like I said, at 4 and 5, they knock over their crayons and fall on the floor and throw a fit. At 14, 15, 16, and 17, they steal cars, rob stores, deal drugs, and go to prison, big girl prison. And you think you're a badass?
No.
I spend a fair amount of time interviewing people in prison.
That's fine.
You don't want to go there. You don't belong there. That's not who you are. You don't want to be there. Which means you've got to do something to disrupt this. And, you know, I've said, when you choose a behavior, you choose the consequences, and you have created no boundaries here.
Correct.
She respects no hierarchy.
Right.
I'm telling you, I think this is all driven by pain, where it's like, get them before they get me. That way I'm not going to get hurt.
Right.
And if she had any self-worth, self-esteem, or value, she wouldn't do these things. She would be saying, look, I got my whole life ahead of me. What am I good at? I'm going to get out and be on my own so I don't have to rely on other people. Right. I'm going to go out and be a doctor, a lawyer, a butcher, a baker, whatever it is I want to do. I'm going to be on my own. I'm going to be self-reliant. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to live the life I want to live. Right. But right now, she's just saying, I'm just going to be disruptive. And you want to be emancipated. You know, you can't be emancipated because you can't demonstrate the ability to self-sustain, which is a primary element of the court recognizing you for emancipation. You don't have a job, you don't have a place to live, you don't have the ability to get a job. Yeah. So the court's not going to recognize that even if you wanted to. She would call it emancipation, they would call it abandonment.
Right.
She may want to do this, she may not. That's your decision as a mother. It's your time to step up. It's your time to say, I am going to lead this family.
Yeah, try again.
I want to introduce you to somebody. George is joining us today. Now, George is the Assistant National Director of Operations at the Center for Discovery. And it is an ideal treatment center to address Destiny's out-of-control behavior, anger, even her academics. It's a school. Right. It's a therapeutic environment in school. They have separate locations for mental health, substance abuse, all sorts of kids that come their way. They've got a total of 12 different residential locations allowing for individual treatment for each client. I asked George to come here today because I think you as a family and Destiny as an individual are on a collision course with disaster. And something dramatic has to happen to disrupt this. George, you've been listening to all of this. What do you think about what you're hearing?
I think what you said, Dr. Phil, is just so on point that this is a family issue. And we have a really strong, intense family program to help right that ship. We really do have to address the hierarchy. And in addition, you've heard that she doesn't feel she can reach out to you and that you don't have the tools to be able to respond to her in the way that she needs. We can help you with that and help you become the support system that Destiny needs. And Destiny, it's taken a lot of guts for you to come out here. You know, as Dr. Phil was talking about sort of the psychological skin, or the psychic skin, you're out here and you're talking about being unhappy and really needing help. And the trauma that you've had in your life, that's something that we can address too, and not in the way that you've been doing, which hasn't been helpful to anybody.
The reason I wanted George in particular to be here with this particular Center for Discovery is because they don't give lip service to this not being a Destiny problem, to this being a family problem. Right. You have as much work to do as Destiny does, probably more, because you are the head of this family. You have to learn what you have to do to lead this family, to be there and be everything that she needs as a mother. Right. And I think very much, I recommend to you to make a decision to immerse your family in this program with Center for Discovery. She may want to do this, she may not. That's your decision as a mother. It's your time to step up. It's your time to say, I am going to be the leader. I am going to lead this family.
Get the out right away.
Please sit.
Walk
outside that door.
Get that camera out of my face.
If you're smart, you're going to want to do this. What's that?
I have to go there?
You should go there. You should want to go there. What are you going to do? What else are you going to do? You got something pressing? You got something pressing to do?
No.
Yeah, well, you guys are going to sit down backstage. And here's the good news. I said things are going to change today. The good news is you've had the pressure of being in a position of making adult decisions. You don't have to do that anymore because you're going to make the decisions. But this is something that you should run towards, not away from. This is a time for you to say, you know what? For once in my life, I'm going to be mature enough to do the right thing and turn things around because this is not working for you. Do you have any questions?
No.
Is this something you're willing to do?
He's giving me anxiety.
Sorry?
He's giving me anxiety.
Well, we'll work on that. I understand. And there's a lot of unknowns right now. We'll sit down backstage. You can talk about this. You'll be absolutely no unknowns whatsoever. Okay? And I totally get that. I mean, it's like a total unknown to you right now. We'll sit down, talk about it, pull up a website, look at everything, talk about it, but do so maturely. You know, you don't need to yell and scream. Just sit down and let's talk about it, pull it up, look at it, answer all of your questions so you know everything. And I totally get you should definitely have questions about it. I respect that. Ask them, let's talk about them.
And if I don't?
Well, that's your mother's decision.
You're deciding my questions?
Not your questions.
No, not your questions. She's going to make the ultimate decision about what to do or not do because she's the mother.
Yeah, try again.
No. But what I'm saying, I would rather do this with you than to you, so let's sit down and talk about it. I mean, don't decide ahead of time that this is horrible. You may look at it and say, this is the best deal I've heard in a long time.
If he gives me anxiety now, what am I going to do with myself in a couple
days? You don't know. He's not creepy. He's just... give him a chance to meet him. He may be the nicest guy you've ever met. I mean, 10 years from now, you may be having him over for Christmas dinner. You don't know.
I will.
You might.
No.
But all I'm asking, you'll sit down and talk with him backstage, okay?
Yeah.
You can sit across the room. It's all right. Fair enough?
No, he's scaring me.
I mean, you can sit across the room. You won't be in there alone. We'll have lots of people in there with you to guard you. I wouldn't put you in there with somebody I didn't trust.
Why are you only talking to me? Why aren't you talking to them?
Oh, I've been talking to them. I just told her she had more work to do than you do.
What about her?
Well, she's not your mother. She's extended family support system. And she's going to be involved as well.
I don't see anyone next to me.
What?
I don't see anyone next to me.
I'm next to you.
Okay.
And I'm not a bad ally.
You need help! You haven't gone to help by yourself! You can't change yourself, but I have to change! You haven't even tried getting help!
Now, Destiny was not too happy with me or her mother for sending her to some help. But what is important to note is that I told her mother, Melissa, that she has just as much work to do as Destiny does. As you can imagine, the conversation backstage was very, very difficult. And I didn't want to do this for the mother. I didn't want to step up and say, okay, Destiny, here's what you need to do. This mother had been so passive, I said, look, if you want this to happen, you need to step up and you need to own it, stand your ground, and be a mother. Here's what happened as our resource department prepared her and her family to get the help they need.
Hell yeah. You. Hell yeah. See you later.
Wow.
I don't know who the you think you're speaker.
You!
Why? What did I do? And what the hell's the
You're
fine for days. And then we come here and now you put on this show.
What show? I've always been like this.
You weren't just like that on the show.
Right, I've always been like this,
You weren't
right?
just like that in front of Dr.
Answer the question.
Like this?
I've always been like this, huh?
Sometimes, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So don't dates for me, you
Okay.
You're
I know in your video prior to coming here and being out there with Dr. Phil, you said that Dr. Phil can get you the help that you need.
Okay.
And we're it.
That's what
What
help is this?
To control this, to help you. Why are you so
What
angry? They're going to help you.
I don't get help. Because I still have to stay with you.
That's not the problem.
You're the problem. You need help. You haven't gone to help by yourself.
I'm working on it.
You're only worried about leaving me. That's why I'm on pills. Because you can't change yourself, but I have to change.
This is why we're
I have to change, but you can't.
Why we're here.
I'm here because you didn't want to deal with me anymore.
No,
That's
we
why.
get this
Because you don't get help. You haven't even tried getting help. You haven't tried. You said I'm gonna go to counseling. We're gonna sign up together. Did you? No. You said foster care, knowing I'd be house to house to house, bouncing and bouncing. I'd be gone. Or you said Dr. Phil, knowing they'd send me away. You knew that. Or 30 to 60 to 90-day rehab. Does that not sound like you're trying to send me away?
Because I want to get help. This is why we're here. Because we all need it.
No, because
So
I
give
do.
you
Because
options.
that's all you care about.
No, it's
that
not.
you want me gone.
Absolutely not, Des.
Okay.
Hi. How you doing? Hi, I have to talk to you.
Get the
No,
out of my way.
Please sit.
You.
Walk outside that door. Please sit.
Then I suggest you get the that bitch out of here. I'm picking up this
I agree with you. I agree with you. There goes Mom. Look how easy that was. We have to talk.
Get that camera out of my face.
I have a problem with everyone in the world or your family. We're about to find that out right now. So, Destiny, listen. I work for Safe Interventions. We
I
have
don't care.
custody of you right now.
I don't care.
But I do not
I'm
work.
I'm calling my
I do
best
not work
friend.
for the program, so keep that in mind.
I don't care.
You're 14, you're a minor, your mom's decided this. You just threw her out and she's not coming back. In a minute, we're gonna leave. So I'm gonna give
I don't
you
give
some
a we just
instructions.
leave now.
Yes, absolutely. So we have custody of you while we go through this place.
Go!
Laura,
Whoa!
hold on.
Why are you waiting?
Destiny,
Why?
I have to tell you something.
I don't care. Just let's go.
Doesn't do
Let's
She has to
go.
hold on to you.
Then
You
let's go.
understand?
Take me.
Hey, Mike.
What a horrible mother. You're skate.
Well, as you just saw, Destiny did end up going to the Center for Discovery, and with the help of the transporters, she got there safely. We will be following her progress, so stay tuned to find out how she's doing. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and don't forget to subscribe to my new podcast called Fill in the Blanks. Thanks, so long.
Today on Dr. Phil. She claimed she had cancer, muscular dystrophy. They were all lies.
I cannot be honest with people.
You say it is an irresistible impulse.
Yes.
So you are a total sociopath.
No, I don't know.
Sarah's mother's here. You know her better than anybody.
Well, I thought I did.
Now,
I bet you never thought you were going to see me again.
she's facing the people she conned.
The jig is up. You are a parasitic psychopath. You are worse than cancer. You have to pay.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. We're sharing a week's worth of the most bizarre deceptions ever presented on this stage. Today, we're continuing the conversation with a group of friends who say they had to drop Sarah after she fabricated multiple stories about herself, including that she had terminal cancer and muscular dystrophy. What does Sarah have to say to the people she has deceived? Is she finally ready to change her ways?
Sarah was introduced to me as a young woman that was battling breast cancer. She told me that her treatment was no longer working.
Sarah told us she did have a husband, James, as well as a 15-month-old daughter named Mindy.
I have never seen Sarah without either a cancer scarf on her head or a wig.
More people do this kind of thing than you can imagine. They victimize people that are willing to help.
She's robbed me of the one joy in my life, and that was helping other people.
You say that she just cried about fears of dying and she was just playing the fear card, the disease card.
She played the entire deck of cards.
She made Facebook posts about her treatment, right?
She did.
She had to create this illusion of being at a chemo infusion center.
It's maniacal.
Sarah claims she had a stalker who was in love with this husband, James, and the story ended in a shootout.
Sarah must have messaged me 100 times. The stalker had followed her to the gym, to the supermarket, was driving in front of her home.
Supposedly there were police involved.
I received a text message from Sarah that said, this stalker has a gun. She's chasing me. I said, just run, run, hide.
She's chasing me, there's a gun, and then radio silence. And she claims 7 people were injured in the shooting.
I believed that my friend, who was dying of terminal cancer, was in a shootout.
As Sarah's stalker story progressed, so did their suspicions.
I came across a record where Sarah had lost her nursing license because she was faking pregnancies. When I read that, every hair on my body stood up. You can fake a pregnancy, and you can definitely fake a husband and fake having cancer. The first thing I said to Sarah, I said, James isn't true. He doesn't exist.
And she said no.
And I said, Bindi doesn't exist, does she?
And she said no.
And I said, the shooting certainly never happened. And of course she said no.
She knew you had had a friend shot to death, so she chose that raw content to exploit you. How do you feel about that now?
I'm furious.
Bethany was Sarah's camp counselor and caregiver, but this time Sarah was in a wheelchair.
Sarah told me that she had muscular dystrophy. There was horseback riding and archery, zip lining. We would take care of all of her needs. I was the one to change her feminine products multiple times a day. I felt like we were very close. When I heard the news that Sarah was faking her disability, there were just tons of anger.
This is a woman that the day before camp is walking around, gets a wheelchair and consciously makes this decision.
She's robbed me. I'm now looking at everybody and saying, are you real?
I have a lying addiction. Around 25, 26 is when I told my first big lie, that I had cancer. By lying, I was getting attention. I started off with like a husband and 2 kids. It took a lot of mental brain power to keep up the charade. I can't remember the last time that I met someone and told them my real truth.
Are you guys ready to see the real Sarah?
I didn't mean to hurt you guys the way that I did. Just such a compulsion that I couldn't control.
You're saying it's just an addiction to lying. This is way bigger and much more sick.
You ruined our life. How dare you? I'm just absolutely disgusted.
And I also want to clarify one thing, that we are not friends. We will never be friends.
You knew she had a friend shot and killed, so you manufacture somebody hunting you down with a gun, and then your phone dies, so you leave her in suspense. You wanted to hurt her.
I didn't want to hurt her, I just wanted the attention.
You either wanted to hurt her, or you just didn't care if you did. You want to figure this out, right?
I do.
About why you do this, and you say it's a compulsion.
Yeah, because I don't even know the last time that I've been honest with a friend or someone that I've met.
You know, one of the things that I've had to deal with, and I'm curious what you guys think about this, one of the things I've had to deal with from a forensic psychology standpoint is the difference between an irresistible impulse and an impulse not resisted. I've had to make those determinations before in criminal cases. An irresistible impulse where you have no control. It just takes you over and you have no ability to resist the impulse whatsoever. It just takes you over and you become a passenger. Versus an impulse that is just not resisted. You just choose not to resist the impulse. It presents itself and you say yes, no, yes. So what are you saying here? Are you saying that your lying is an irresistible impulse or an impulse not resisted?
I mean, I can't resist it. No matter what I do, it just takes over my life. I feel like even when I tell myself I want to choose to be honest, I cannot be honest with myself or with people.
So you say it is an irresistible impulse?
Yes.
That you have no ability to edit yourself. You have no ability to pump the brake. You have no ability to choose right or wrong. So you are a total sociopath.
No, I think I don't know. I just feel like I want to be honest with people, and no matter how hard I try.
Do you know right from wrong?
I believe I know what the difference.
So
yes.
At the time that you're telling these people here, that the time that you're telling Brian that you're James and you're feeling left out, do you know the difference between right and wrong? Do you know that's wrong?
I know.
Or does that even occur to you?
Yeah, I know that it's wrong.
You know it's wrong.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that that's an irresistible impulse, that just comes on you and you have no choice but to type that up and send it to Brian. And guilt induce him for making you, who don't exist, feel left out.
No, that's a choice.
So it's not an irresistible impulse. It is a premeditated way to leverage them into giving you something more.
Yeah.
Do you have any remorse for it?
Yeah, I have a lot of remorse for it. I feel terrible that I've done that to the people that I've met, and I've done it to all of them.
Okay, what have you done to Liz? What have you done to her? What is the impact of your behavior and lies?
I mean, she was so, I don't know, she was supportive, and she was just always there for me. And I just took that trust away from her. Now I don't know, if she can trust other people that come to her for help.
What have you done to her? No, hang on. What have you done to her?
I mean, just lying to her and taking her away from her family and her friends, and the stuff that she work and the stuff that's important to her life as well.
You see the problem? Here's the problem. See, psychopaths or sociopaths have no empathy, so they can't mimic it. They don't know. If you ask someone that has empathy that question, they would say, I've broken her heart. She gave to me and I took that and wadded it up. I violated her trust, and she is heartbroken and humiliated, and it's crushed her soul, and now she doesn't know if she can ever trust anybody again, and it's changed who she is, and I've taken away innocence in her life. I've taken away her ability to feel like she can reach out and give to people, and that's a horrible thing to do to somebody that has a great heart and spirit. She can't even mimic those words because she doesn't know how to stand in your shoes because she doesn't have empathy. And that's why she said, well, I wasted her time. I wasted her time. That's why there's no genuine remorse here. Liz says Sarah became so obsessed with her to the point that she started copying everything she did and said. We're going to talk about that next.
When I heard that Sarah was in town this past weekend for the triathlon, my heart about skipped a beat. I went to the race and watched and took pictures, honestly, in shock. I really did wonder if her motive for all of this was just to kind of insert herself in my life.
And later...
Sarah, look at me. I bet you never thought you were going to see me again. The jig is up. Who fakes that they have cancer? You are a parasitic psychopath.
Losing Liz was probably the turning point because, I legitimately had, a really, really strong connection with her. The stuff that I do with the triathlons, that's not fake. Not being able to talk to her and not being able to tell her I'm sorry. It's been, very, very hard for me.
Well, I'm here with Bethany, Brian, and Liz. Sarah is here as well. They all say they emotionally invested themselves in their friendships with Sarah. Liz says she noticed early on that Sarah started to talk like her, dress like her, and have the same athletic goals as her. Take a look.
I didn't really see the similarities at first, that Sarah was trying to copy me. My friends started saying that she was obsessed with me, and brought to my attention it was exactly like that movie Single White Female. They said she's basically just trying to be you. Sarah really started to kind of take on a lot of my, quirky personality. I tend to use the word badass a lot, and all of a sudden the word badass, it was every other word out of her mouth. Sarah started obsessing over triathlon. Sarah would show up week after week. I noticed she was just starting to accumulate a strikingly similar wardrobe. She had tried these shoes on when she visited me, and when she showed up the following week, she had these shoes. And she replaced the laces with the same laces. I have this kit from a team that I'm on. Sarah really liked this, and she went out and purchased the entire line. She was no longer using the bicycle helmet that she had. She had gone out and purchased this bicycle helmet. When she left, she said, hey, guess what? I got the same watch. I thought, wow, that's incredible. When I heard that Sarah was in town this past weekend for the triathlon, my heart about skipped a beat. I went to the race and watched and took pictures, honestly, in shock. I found out later that Sarah had posted a new profile and put a picture standing on the podium in first place claiming that she, quote unquote, rocked it. I really did wonder if her motive for all of this was just to kind of insert herself in my life. Sarah being completely intertwined in my life is no doubt the understatement of the year.
And the lies just kept getting more and more complex. I've kind of made a chart of them. These are the lies that we're told to you two. Flight attendant, older sister, 2-time cancer survivor, 2 miscarriages, gamma knife treatment, parents married 40 years, drives Tesla in a pickup, shootout, 7 people shot, hit by a bullet, stalker, police investigation, has a husband, James, he's a UFC fighter. She met Steve Irwin and named her daughter after his daughter, 13 brain tumors, all of this. Then all the blue, Bethany, is you, can't walk, can't bathe, can't feed, muscular dystrophy, wheelchair bound, can't change products, sleep apnea, CPAP machine, all of that. Then all the orange are just other family members, Ebola infection, pregnant with twins, miscarriage, breast cancer, Olympic athlete on a ski team, catfished a disabled friend, shaved her head in 2010. I mean, this is not just kind of stretch the truth a time or two. I mean, this is a, you know, if you put that much effort into improving yourself and actually creating relationships, you could be the mayor. I mean, this is a lot of work to destroy people's lives. I mean, this is complex. I mean, how do you keep it straight, right?
Don't know. Nope.
How did all of these lies begin? Well, Sarah's mother's here, and I have a few questions for her, and I want to go through these lies when we come back and show you how they all fit together. People will lie, and they can't control micro expressions in their face while they're controlling their words. Are you telling the truth?
It was hard to keep all the lies straight. I would have to like change groups of friends because you can't talk about Bindi with one set of friends and talk about having like twins or with another set of friends.
I can now see some kind of mistakes that she made. For example, she needed new pedals for her bike. And so when she would text me as Sarah, she would spell the word pedal wrong, and James would as well. I have absolutely no idea how Sarah kept all these lies straight. I don't.
Are you telling the truth since you've been talking to us?
I have been. I seriously came here to get to the bottom of why I can't stop lying to people. This has been, for the last 8 years, has been so exhausting. And you're right, like if I could put that much effort into something that is healthy and positive and productive in my life, I could be successful at something.
Do you know when you're lying?
I used to not, but I'm really trying to focus on before I say something, to take a minute and, you know, try to make sure that everything I'm saying is 100% honest.
When did that start?
Since talking with the show.
Well, that's interesting because, you know, deception detection is a science. It's not what you read in People magazine or something. There's actually a science to this. And when people lie, there's what we call leakage sometimes. And like, for example, there's something called duping delight. It's where people will lie and they can't control all of their body and micro expressions in their face and all while they're controlling their words. And if you can raise the cognitive load on them at a particular time, it creates real problems for them. And there are a few things that, just a few examples that I picked out of your interview tape that I would like to take a look at, where she's telling us things that she's confessing to with great pride. She just can't help from smiling, frankly, almost breaking out into laughter. Let's take a look at the first clip.
Around 25, 26 is when I told my first big lie.
And living the lie, what did you tell people?
That I had cancer.
All right, play that again, and this time watch her smile when she says, when I said I had cancer.
Around 25, 26 is when I told my first big lie.
And living the lie, what did you tell people?
That I had cancer.
She's proud of that.
Absolutely.
There, she's just smiling when she says it. Let's look at the next one.
I mean, I started off with like a husband and 2 kids. That was like my first like husband story lie. I would tell people that my husband's name was James.
Are you kidding me? I'm looking at you now, and look at you now with the expression that you have now, and let's look at that tape again. It's her talking about her husband and James. It doesn't exist.
I mean, I started off with like a husband and 2 kids. That was like my first like husband story lie. I would tell people that my husband's name was James.
Proud moment.
And right after this, she brags about how much mental energy it takes to keep all of this going. Very, very proud of that.
It took a lot of mental, like, brain power to have to keep up the charade. If you're, playing, hockey and like you want to like hit the puck, you want to like hold the stick and hit the puck, like you can't do that. And like you have this, like you want to just grab the stick and do it yourself, but you have to like refrain from doing it.
That's what I call duping delight. It's like she is saying, yeah, I lied about cancer, I lied about my husband, and I crafted all of this stuff, and she just can't keep from, like, yeah, my husband, James, do you see that in yourself?
I see that I mean, I didn't think that I was laughing about lying when they were asking those questions.
Yeah, that's why we call them micro expressions. That's why we call it leakage. It's your unconscious expressing itself in contradiction to your words. Sarah's mother's here. You know her better than anybody.
Well, I thought I did.
How did you feel when her nursing license was suspended?
I didn't know they were.
Well, Sarah's mother's here, joining us in the audience. She says that she hasn't been able to trust her daughter for years and fears her daughter will never find happiness until she's really honest with herself. So, Connie, I'm glad you're here, and this has to be painful for you, but you have to be concerned if she's doing this now, where is this going to unwind to in the future? What do you think about all? You know her better than anybody, I assume.
Well, I thought I did, but I mean, she tells me stories, and I guess I'm naive, so I believe her. Like when she went to Liz's, to Florida, she told me she's going down there, and Liz was helping her train. I didn't know she's going down there and interrupting, your family, and I'm really sorry she did that. And the MDA, when she told me she was going down there as a helper, I had no idea she was going down there as a patient.
And you've never had an issue with lying and being dishonest with people, right?
No.
Because we do kind of deep dives on people, and you have absolutely no history of this at all.
No, I do not.
But you had no idea that she's doing these things at all.
No, I just thought what she was doing was making her happy, and I wanted her to be happy.
How did you feel when her nursing license was suspended?
I didn't know they were.
Well, this is the first you're hearing of that?
And they got suspended in Virginia. Yeah, I never knew that. She went from Virginia to Wisconsin, and then she went from Wisconsin to work in the hospitals. But I didn't know one license was suspended, so she went to a different state.
So you did know it then?
Well, she told me she lost her license in Oklahoma because she surrendered them. So they suspended her.
Why did they suspend her?
She said for surrendering her license, which I don't know how license work from state to state.
She just said she gave it up when she left the state.
Right.
Well, in Virginia, the records say that she lost her license because she admits to falsely presenting herself as being pregnant with twin babies.
I had no idea that
and
happened.
includes wearing pillows and providing ultrasound pictures of twins to the staff, and prematurely delivered the twins, and the twins had died.
I had no idea.
And that when the board found out about that, they said this is an unstable woman, and they suspended her license. That's correct, right?
That's correct.
And you similarly lost it in Oklahoma, Mississippi, and Illinois.
Not Mississippi.
Missouri, I'm
Missouri,
sorry.
yes.
Missouri.
Missouri.
None of that was ever a wake-up call to you? None of that ever said, hey, you know, this is starting to really unravel on me. They've now taken away my livelihood. I've talked myself out of my livelihood. I go to work with pillows under my smock, and I've lost my livelihood. It's time for me to figure out what's going on here.
It did, and I went to counseling, and it didn't help. When I went to their, they suggested that I go to different counselors.
Did you lie to the counselors?
No, I just didn't have a very good connection with them and didn't feel like I was in a safe environment.
Did you lie by omission?
I'm not sure what that means.
By leaving things out, telling them
Oh.
less than the whole truth?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably. Next, a breast cancer survivor who Sarah told she had cancer as well has a few things she wants to add to the conversation. We'll be right back.
Sarah, look at me. I bet you never thought you were going to see me again. The jig is up. Who fakes that they have cancer? You are a parasitic psychopath.
Sarah says she's here today to figure out why she lies. She says when she starts telling one tiny lie, she just can't stop, and then she has to tell another lie to keep the ball rolling, and then when attention starts to wane, then she has to up the lies so she continues to get the attention. And she sees cancer patients online, and she sees the sympathy and compassion and support that they get, and she wants that. So then she kind of mirrors them and pretends to be among them so she gets what they're getting. And so she just keeps building it up because she wants what she sees others getting. Now, Michelle is also joining us in the audience. She is a breast cancer survivor of 9 years. She says Sarah, who claimed to also have stage 4 breast cancer, was a huge support system for her when she was battling disease. So thanks for joining us. I appreciate you being here. You have a real problem with what she's doing.
Oh, yes, I do. Sarah, look at me. I bet you never thought you were going to see me again after you blocked me on March 10th, did you? But I told you in my little Facebook post, be like honest Michelle. Karma was coming for you. It's here. I had no idea that Dr. Phil was going to be right beside it, but it's here. The jig is up. You need to pay for what you have done. Dr. Phil, that list that was on your screen, that's not even the half of it. international groups you have infiltrated. You are a parasitic psychopath. And you need to pay for what you have done. The law needs to come after you. And Dr. Phil, I don't know what you can do to stop her, but Sarah's not going to be the last one that tries to pull the wool over people's eyes. You've infiltrated a sacred circle, and you are worse than cancer. Do you hear me? I am here for every single one of the survivors that are no longer with us, my friends that probably won't be here with us next year, some of whom you met. You've shared a dining table with me. You've laughed. You've infiltrated, I feel, that circle. And through me, you've got to my friend, and you took my friend away from me for over a year. You have to pay.
Well, you've earned the right to your feelings, and I appreciate you sharing them. And you need to hear, because you don't have the ability to stand in her shoes. Do you understand what she's saying to you?
I do.
What do you say?
Then I'm sorry. I didn't.
Don't.
I mean, I don't know what.
Don't waste your breath.
Nothing to say. I don't know what to say.
There is nothing you can say. Who fakes that they have cancer? I've heard that you have cancer 3 times in my life. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. You are delusional. You need help, but you need to pay for what you have done. And you know the people in my life and Lizzie's life and Brian's life that you have suckered. You have to pay.
If you were sorry, you wouldn't be able to sit in this room with your mother and hear these things and not have any more emotion than you do right now.
You have 0 remorse.
We'll be right back. Well, I'm back with a host of people that have been victimized by this woman, Sarah. Liz, Brian, Bethany, Michelle, her own mother, Connie. I'm the incurable optimist. And I'm going to talk to you based not on what I think you deserve, but based on what I think you need. Okay?
Okay.
Because I don't think that these folks have a lot of compassion to give. But so, as I say, I'm going to talk to you not about what you deserve, but what you need. You want to know why you lie. There are reasons people lie. People don't just lie out of the blue. There are reasons that people lie. They lie for a variety of things. They lie to take what is not rightfully theirs. Right? I mean, they lie to take something that's not theirs. They lie to escape accountability, to create a fantasy or a false self-esteem, to escape what they think is a mundane life. They lie to avoid punishment. They lie to inflict pain, to feel better in the moment, steal admiration from people, or to gain an advantage, or to exploit others. And you just about cover the entire board in the motivations for your lying. You've lied to take what's not rightly yours in the camp that you went to. Your self-esteem is very low because you think you can never have a friend, so you have to steal it. You do inflict pain on others. You steal admiration. You gain advantage so you can exploit people. You've done it to Liz. You've done it to Bethany. I mean, you're just all up and down the chart. And you're going to have to come to grips, come to terms with why your self-esteem is so low. And until you do that, you're going to continue to steal what healthy people earn, which is respect, fellowship, unity. You know, the number one fear that people have is rejection, and the number one need is acceptance. And you're running from that because you don't have any confidence in yourself at all. And for whatever reason, you're sabotaging yourself every step of the way through your life. And you need to figure out what your internal dialogue is that tells you that you have to cheat and lie and steal in order for people to allow you to be around. And until you figure that out and determine some self-worth, you're going to continue to do this. You're not going to stop if you don't face the fact that somehow or another your personal truth is damaged and your self-worth is on the floor. I can't diagnose you here, but I can tell you that on the short list of considerations would be a really severe personality disorder, most likely a borderline personality disorder, which is something that describes you pretty well, which is a pattern of disorganized, unstable relationships, disorganized, unstable self-image and emotions. There's a lot of anger, impulsiveness, frequent mood swings, and possibly brief psychotic episodes. These people are often intelligent. They can appear warm and friendly and competent until their defensive structure starts to break down. And then the wheels come off and you start seeing lies and exploitation and all kinds of really self-destructive behavior. I think you are seriously depressed. I think you have serious problems with anxiety. I think you have a severe personality disorder. I think you lack empathy. And I think your self-worth is in the floor. And until you deal with those issues, you're going to continue to victimize anybody that has the misfortune of coming into your space. And I am willing to offer you that help.
And I would accept that help.
I always say people lie for different reasons. There are 7 common reasons that people lie. Number 1, they lie to take what is not rightfully theirs. Number 2, they lie to escape accountability. Number 3, they do it to create a fantasy, a false self-esteem, to escape what they consider to be a mundane life. Number 4, they do it to avoid punishment. 5, to inflict pain, like spreading gossip to hurt someone. Number 6, they lie to feel better in the moment. They steal admiration. Number 7, they lie to gain an advantage so they can exploit other people. If you're being lied to, think about those 7 reasons. Now, there are others, but those are some real common motivations about why people lie. If you want to keep up with all things Dr. Phil, then scan the flow code on the screen. This will link you to exclusive content you can't get anywhere else. Plus, you can follow and subscribe to my podcast, Fill in the Blanks, where I provide critical information on some of the most important issues we're facing today. And check out Robin's podcast, I've Got a Secret with Robin McGraw, where she swaps secrets with thought leaders, innovators, and friends. Get in on the Secret Squad. Listen for free on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, I will look into it, see what it costs and everything. Because there's a place by work I could go to. Okay. Oh, you've collected all the look at you participating in all of the things. And then in Porto, we also got multiple pastel de natas from this place. This place had the best pasta, and which I still have some in the fridge, but they're now a few days old. Oh, and pizza falling out of the fridge, because as usual, my fridge is a disaster. Okay, homies. Just like work with me here. And all dressed chips. Ooh! Sure. Sammerham, I'm pretty sure you're in the Discord, right? You can put a recipe. If you have a recipe or a website that I should use, let me know. Because I would love to try new things. Heck yes, give me a recipe. I'm in. All right. Let's get slowly but surely started here, chat. We got a lot to do. We got to make what is going on here? Why do I have a notification? Oh, because I got an emote. Go away. Stop asking me to rate the Twitch app. Yahoah. Pictures. That's what I need. Interesting. Now, I didn't post a crazy ton of pictures in Discord, while I was gone. I posted, but I didn't go cray-cray because, I'd like to pretend that I actually participated in my time away. You know what I mean? And I spilled milk. So what this milk is supposed to be room temperature. It's not. So what we're going to do is microwave it and some water just to get it up to some kind of temperature. Oh, Cat's got a lot of emotes. So how have you guys been? What have you been up to? Talk to me. Tell me everything. I feel very washed out by that light. I don't know what I'm doing wrong tonight, but I'm doing it wrong, apparently. That light, it's meant to be good for the stream, but I feel like it's doing extra. There, maybe that's better. It's doing extraness. Extraness, You went on a really awesome trip? Oh my gosh, where'd you go, Kat? Tell me all about it. This is good for me. Are we at exactly 3/4 of a cup? No, but I'm okay with that. Head chef got your phone? Uh-oh. Oh, was that you, Golden? Did I name you Cat? Good job, head chef. No, it says Cat. Well, hi, head chef. I hope you're having a good Saturday. No, today's Friday. I hope you're having a good Friday. How much more school? How much more school? Are you all right? Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. Okay. 2 teaspoons active dry yeast. 8 oh no, she put sunglasses on the side. That's amazing. Good job, head chef. That was pretty good. I like that a lot. Porto, I should check Porto out. I've heard good things. I heard they have a really cool bridge climb too. Oh, I need more sugar. I'm sure I have more sugar somewhere, but I'm sure I have more sugar somewhere. Why does my ankle itch like I got a bug bite? Did I get a bug bite? That would be annoying if I got a bug bite. Sugar, yeast, water, and milk in a bowl. Well, it's in this. Aw, thanks, baby. They give you port at a random time at the top of the bridge where you have to climb down next, right? Thank you, Towie. Thank you for telling me I'm sweet enough. You're very kind to me. You know that, right? All right. You're not even seeing this. Oh, head chef. You're having a little too much fun over there. All good, though. I'm glad you're having fun. I think I got bit by a bug. Because my ankle be itchy. This playlist is very cracked out and very different. All right, let us get... Oh my god, why do I feel so itchy? Like, is there a mosquito in my apartment that is biting the crap out of me? Ah! All right. Better than a bee. Battling the mosquito, exactly. Exactly. All right, 2.5 cups. Oh, well, now I just feel super itchy because I'm thinking about it. I don't think there's actually anything in here, so I need to stop and just stop thinking about it. And get this going. We need 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, which we definitely have. Yes, I'm battling a mosquito right now. Can't you tell by the boss music? Can't you tell by the boss music? So yeah, my trip was amazing. I'll just kind of talk about it as we go because it was a good 10 days. I got to England and I guess technically my time off of work started by having lunch with Paunch. This is 4. If it were anybody else, head chef, I'd be yelling at you for spamming emotes, kid. I think that it might actually have only been 3, 4, 5. This is 5. I went and had lunch with Paunch, and we went for a nice walk uptown a little bit, and then we went to a bar and had a couple of drinks before I had to say goodbye and go finish getting ready. I had a little bit of work to do. Thank you, Kat. You're so helpful, Kat. I appreciate you so much, Kat. And he gave me a marinade that I had been asking for. Well, I'd asked him for once when he brought it up. You can't hear me as I was talking in my other room. We're going to use this on the chicken I bought. The veracity of these claims. Thank you for confirming that. So I bought chicken thighs, Paunchy Paunch, and we're going to marinate tonight in the Spidey? How the frick do you pronounce this? Either way, that's my proof I saw a Paunchy Paunch, okay? Speedy. Okay, I said it right the first time. Heck yes. I have peri-peri sauce. I have not opened it up yet. I haven't fully unpacked, Kat, because I am lazy. All right, a teaspoon of salt. And I don't have fresh thyme. What do we got? What do I got over here that's dead? We'll just use some who's over there? Hi, Wolf, how are you? I don't have any fresh vegetables, Oh God, why is that wet? I need to